hello. I have something pretty cool I found. Look at this. It's like daytime and nighttime. It's like daylight, nightlight. And it opens up as a candle. It's pottery. Pretty cool. I have some gum here. It doesn't shake. I have some gum here. Thank you so much for joining me for another video. Simply gum. Not bad. It's different. I have a great big, huge book today. The Beacon Book of Quotations by women. I love it. It weighs like, feels like it weighs like 5 pounds. 5 pounds, 5 pounds. I think it weighs like 5 pounds. Do you get tingles from hand movements? Some people do, some people don't. I always do. Lo-fi love. Best hand movements. From my heart to yours. From my heart to yours. I want to read some quotes. It's brilliant the way this is organized. It's like quotes by topic. So, subject. Let's see what they say. Let's see what quotations they have on the subject of consciousness. For instance, consciousness. Where is it? Okay, conscience. 134 and 135. You can give me any subject. You can comment any subject. You can comment any subject. And I will read quotes. And I can use this book again in another video after you request a subject. Any subject is probably in here. There's a lot of good C subjects. Conscience. The needle of our conscience is as good a compass as any. Ruth Wolff, 1963. Conscience is the anticipation of the fellow who awaits you if and when you come home. Hannah Arendt, The Life of the Mind, Volume 1, 1978. The private conscience is the last and only protection of the civilized world. Martha Gellhorn, The Atlantic, 1962. I cannot and will not cut my conscience to fit this year's fashions. Lillian Hellman, 1976. 1976 was the bicentennial in America. A bicentennial is 200 years, so 1776 is when they say America was born. The one thing that doesn't abide by majority rule is a person's conscience. Harper Lee, To Kill a Mockingbird, 1960. The one thing that doesn't abide by majority rule is a person's conscience. Harper Lee, To Kill a Mockingbird, 1960. So nice I read it twice. Conscience that isn't hitched up to common sense is a mighty dangerous thing. Margaret Deland, The Promises of Alice, 1919. On and on, there's several more quotes about conscience. But what about common sense? Common sense. Common sense. Common sense. Common sense. Common sense. I'm not one of those as can see the cat to the dairy and wonder what she's come after. George Eliot, Adam Bede, 1859. Why are the umpires the only two people on the field who aren't going to get grass stains on their knees, the only ones allowed to wear dark trousers? Catherine Whitehorn, 1981. I don't understand that one at all. If the cat has kittens in the oven, that don't make 'em biscuits. Elizabeth Ogilvy, The Summer of the Osprey, 1987. Common sense is a very tricky instrument. It is as deceptive as it is indispensable. Suzanne K. Langer, Philosophical Sketches, 1962. Common sense knowledge is prompt, categorical, and inexact. Again, Susan K. Langer, Philosophy in a New Key, 1942. And then it says, see also knowledge, self-evident, sensible, and wisdom. Let's see about coffee. More C words. I found myself face to face. 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 With a long line of people resembling extras off the set of Night of the Living Dead, shuffling along, pale and twitching, empty cups in hand, murderous, miserable, no matter that the air was rich with vapors of fresh ground beans and warm muffins, no matter that the soft-piped-in Vivaldi poured over us like steamed milk. These angry zombies were rushing to work, and their eyes flashed fair warning. Don't mess with us. We haven't had our coffee. Joan Frank, Achieving Legal Liftoff. In the San Francisco Examiner Image, 1991. Coffee, according to the women of Denmark, is to the body what the word of the Lord is to the soul. Isaac Denison, The Supper at Elsinore, from Seven Gothic Tales, 1934. I have that book. I have that book. Isaac Denison, Seven Gothic Tales. Nice. Use that book someday. Coffee was a food in that house, not a drink. Patricia Hampel, A Romantic Education, 1981. For a writer, it's more essential than food. Again, that was Joan Frank in the San Francisco Examiner Image, 1991. The coffee was so strong, it snarled as it lurched out of the pot. Betty MacDonald, The Egg and I, 1945. The coffee was strong enough to trot a mouse across, Diane Ackerman. The Moon by Whale Light, 1991. Coffee is not as necessary to ministers of the Reformed faith as to Catholic priests. The latter are not allowed to marry, and coffee is said to induce chastity. Charlotte Elizabeth, Duchess de Orleans, 1706. The Letters of Madame, Volume 1, 1924. I'm grieved to learn, dear Louise, that you have taken to coffee. Nothing is so unhealthy, and I see many here who have had to give it up because of the diseases it has brought upon them. Also, Charlotte Elizabeth, Duchess de Orleans, 1710. See also tea. Coincidence. I know coincidence has a long arm, but it's not an octopus. Coincidence, 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 coincidence. Accidents, coincidence. Coincidence and accidents. Oh my, there's so many about poetry. Here's May Sarton. Try making a poem as if it were a table, clear and solid, standing there outside you. May Sarton, Mrs. Stevens, Here's the Mermaid Singing, 1965. How poetry comes to the poet is a mystery. Elizabeth Drew, Discovering Poetry, 1933. Poetry cannot be explained, it must be lived. Anne Hebert. Poetry Broken Solitude, Poems from 1960. I talk in riddles. I'd rather speak plainly, but some ways are still unmapped. Elizabeth Smart, All I Know About Why I Write, In the Meantime, 1984. I love a good riddle. Poetry is life distilled. Gwendolyn Brooks, I Dream a World, 1989. Poetry is an act of distillation. It takes contingency samples, is selective. It telescopes time. It focuses what most often floods past us in a polite blur. Diane Ackerman and Jeanette Sternberg edited The Writer on Her Work, Volume 2, 1991. Poetry to me is prayer. Anne Sexton, 1966. Plants. There's a nice one. The skin of moss holds the footprints of star-footed birds. Nancy Willard, 1991. Why I wanted to read from this book, of course, is because we're getting near the end of March, which is Women's Month. Speaking of the subject of women, there's a lot here. There it is. Where there is a woman, there is magic. I can't pronounce the name of who wrote that. Sorry. A woman's place is on top. Slogan on t-shirts, 1978 American Women's Himalayan Expedition to Annapurna and Arlene Bloom. One is not born, but rather becomes a woman. Simone de Beauvoir, The Second Sex, 1949. Am I not a woman and a sister? Ladies' Department, The Liberator, 1831. Motto and Anti-Slavery Coin, 1838. And aren't I a woman? Sojourner Truth. Speech from 1851. Included in the narrative of Sojourner Truth, 1878. And on writing, writing is a kind of double living. The writer experiences everything twice. Once in reality, and once in that mirror which waits always before or behind. Catherine Drinker Brown in The Atlantic, 1957. I hope I talked quite enough to give you tingles. I hope you enjoyed my new pottery. plan on doing a book review, sort of like a commenter asked me to talk about my favorite books, so I plan on doing that in some way soon. So I hope you'll check me back again and watch my next video. I'm so glad you're here, and I thank you so much for watching and relaxing and sitting back, laying back, closing your eyes, breathing deep in, breathing deep out. Until next time, take care of yourself, be well, be happy as you can